Those are the people who protested against the decision of Pierre Nkurunziza to run for a third term as the president of Burundi. Dozens of them were killed during the protests and over 180,000 others escaped to neighbouring countries. But the backlash didn't change the president's mind. Instead, he warned that either he'll be in power or Burundi will suffer attacks by Al-Shabab. Opposition parties said he used the Al-Shabab card to make people believe that he was the only one who could stop terror attacks in the country. They also stressed that the current constitution of Burundi restricts the president only to 2 terms. They went even further and boycotted the elections. But the supporters of Nkurunziza said the president was actually not voted into his first term office in a general election. He was rather appointed by lawmakers, so they argued that Nkurunziza was more than entitled to run for a third term.
Candidat général au niveau national, il a eu 2,14%. Il occupe la 2e position.
And on election day, July 23rd, the chairman of the National Independent Electoral Commission announced that Nkurunziza had won the election. So after weeks of violence, Nkurunziza secured a third term as president of Burundi. But for many, the result was unsurprisingly given the opposition boycott. About 74% of 3.8 million eligible voters in the country went to the polls. Nkurunziza won 69% of their votes. But US President Barack Obama said the election in Burundi was not entirely credible, and US Secretary of State John Kerry called it deeply flawed. They urged the government of Burundi to engage in meaningful and serious talks with opposition parties. After an election that the US said were flawed, many people in Burundi started to talk about the possibility of another civil war. Ethnic fighting between Hutus and Tutsis have in the past killed as many as 300,000 people in the country. The opposition has argued that people prefer to settle their disagreements with violence in countries that lack respect for the law of democracy. Nkurunziza is now being challenged to keep his promise to protect the sovereignty of Burundi and restore democracy by engaging with his opponents.